Hello, I'm Anthony DeLongis, and welcome to Rancho Indalo and DeLongis Performance and Combat Arts. Today we're going to work on footwork. I have been studying martial arts since 1968, and I've been lucky to have some of the finest teachers in the world. I began with European fencing and two-time Olympian and sword master to the stars, Maestro Ralph Faulkner. I also trained in Taekwondo. I made it to a red belt level before realizing this wasn't the best art for me, and I went on to train with Guru Dan Inosanto for over a decade in Filipino martial arts and so much more. Currently, I've been almost a dozen years with Sensei Matthew Lynch under Kaiso Toshishiro Obata and doing Shinkendo, Japanese sword. With all of these arts, I have noticed that there are fundamentals and concepts that connect these arts. As Bruce Lee said, the ribbons of truth. And I have tried to distill a methodology that allows me to move easily from empty hands work to a single-handed weapon like a saber, one of my favorites, or to a two-handed weapon like a katana, also a favorite, or to double weapons as in Kali and Filipino martial arts. The tool doesn't matter if you have the foundation, all right? One lifetime is not enough time to learn everything about any art, but the more arts you study, they each inform the other. And as I said, there are foundational principles and concepts, and one of which I like is skeletal alignment, which gives you strength through structure rather than effort. And it's really, really pretty simple. Basically, any tool you put in your hand, it's an inanimate object until you pick it up. And then it becomes an extension of your will and your skill. There are basically 8 angles of attack with any weapon. You have a descending diagonal. You have a horizontal forehand and backhand. You have a rising diagonal. And you have a vertical descending and rising. 8 angles of attack. You can cut on these angles, you can thrust on these angles, you can cut and then thrust. It's an unending combination of possibilities, but that's all there is, okay? Similarly, footwork. There are 8 angles. There's forward and back, which is linear, and there are variations, European variations, others. There's lateral, which is side to side, or profile, and just get out of the way. There's build a barrier and get behind it. That's descending diagonal. And then there's monitor center line and enter, which would be ascending diagonal. Also 8 angles plus circle. And that's all there is. In every bladed weapon system in the world, in every martial system of the world, you can distill the essence to that footwork. And that's what we're going to work on today, is footwork. Because most people have a tendency to neglect what's going on with the lower body. They're wildly waving around with whatever their weapon of choice happens to be, but it's not being supported by their lower body. So today, in the Action Actors Professional Toolbox, we're going to work on how to make your footwork better. Let's get started. We're looking to distill our structure into simple foundational basics. Whatever your tool happens to be, you're going to have your hand behind your weapon, your elbow behind your hand, and your body behind your elbow. Here's a basic fencing stance. Here's a two-handed stance, all right? Whatever I happen to be doing with my feet, I'm going to make sure that I move until my body's behind my elbow. This gives me strength through structure rather than effort. Similar, when I'm being offensive, I don't want to have a bent arm. That doesn't help me. I need to extend my arm fully because this is what my partner measures distance from, is my extended arm. This is what makes me the attacker, not this, okay? So, with that idea in mind, everything is connected to the torso because I can only get a certain amount of strength with my arm alone, but if I can add body to that, now I'm enormously powerful because all the parts of the body are doing the same thing at the same time, so no one part is being overloaded, all right? So with that idea in mind, You set the angle with your hand. The angle of your hand sets the angle of the blade. So if I want a vertical, my hand will be vertical. A diagonal, a horizontal, a rising diagonal on both the forehand and the backhand side for our 8 angles, okay? But you want the energy to come from the biggest muscles in your body. In European fencing, we have a tendency to think, oh, I'm working linear, and that's true, but that's because modern fencing is done on a piste, okay, on a strip. Back in the day, there was a whole lot of work being done off angle because I changed the leverage. Subtle elusive footwork to create superior leverage is the whole foundation of every martial arts, and especially the Spanish Mysterious Circle, which I got to introduce in the Duende episode of Highlander with my buddy Braun McAsh. I'm very proud of that. With that idea in mind, I need to connect this. So the hand sets the angle, the arm extends to set the distance, and the body twists, all right, to deliver the blow, to generate the energy, and then also to control that energy so that it doesn't come out the tip of the stick. When we are performing, we are telling the truth with everything except contact, and that we control. And the key to that is in your hips. So, we're going to begin with a foundation to teach us how to use our feet and our hips. My hand sets the angle. I'm going to start with elbows. So from here, if I just use my elbow, I don't have much. But if my weight shifts and twists, I'm turning to 10 o'clock. Because here's my center. I'm striking through center. When this is even with the dimensions of my body, I'm done. And everything is forward. Notice I do not go backwards to go forward because that's your chance to come run me over. I want to shift and twist. So we're going to start in place. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I twist to 10 o'clock, which means I'm now loaded over here to come back to the left. Keep this hand here. Don't take it out of play. 4. Good. Now with our angles, I can also come forward. 1, 2. And I can go backwards. 1, 2. And on the other side, here's in place. Coming forward. 1, 2. And going backwards. Stopping and hitting. Stopping and hitting. Good. So that's horizontal. Rising diagonal. Elbow coming here like this. 1. First start in place. Feel the weight shift from right to left. Right to left. That's 10 o'clock. Then 2 o'clock. 2. And notice when you shift, you hit through, you re-weight this to be able to come back to the other side, and you unweight the legs. You'll be able to throw a knee. You'll be able to throw a kick. Okay? 4. And then your movement. Coming forward. 2. And going backward. 2. Good. So, if we have 8 angles of attack, we've done horizontal rising. Let's do descending. When would I use that? After I've kicked somebody or hit somebody and they're bent over, now I'm going to drive them down. You won't use this as much, but just for the logic of it. And 1, 2. As long as the elbow is higher than the hand, you're getting the idea. First in place, do it 4 times. 2, each time shifting weight, loading and unloading, okay? And then coming forward. 2, we don't do this so much because it's not very powerful. We're looking to get that hip rotation and going backwards. 1, 2, and on up to 4. Good. Now we have center line, which is a spear. This is not an uppercut. This is a spear. So what's happened is I've blocked and I've twisted and come forward. There's a twist forward. This is a thrust, okay? 4, other side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I can come forward to step inside. Forward to step inside. I can go backwards and backwards. Same thing on this side. Forward, forward, and twisting, twisting. Good, okay. What happens in the front can happen in the back. So horizontal again. Hand sets the angle. This is my weapon here. Before it was here, now it's here. So 1, 2, again twisting to 10 o'clock. Start in place and 1, 2, 3, 4, and be able to move. Be able to move. Be able to move. Be able to move on both sides. Right? So the elbows become our punches. Straight punch. Now, I'm not doing this because this is essentially like advancing and retreating. Okay? This is linear. and you certainly can. But as soon as you've thrown this hand, if you want to throw this hand, you need to open, which means you're here. Now you're loaded here, so when you throw this hand, you're going to open again, and you're going to get that hip rotation. So to simplify, we're just going to work with the hip rotation. So starting with left, 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 and right, right. And notice I do not go backwards. This is here. I always want my body, my elbows, both offensively and defensively. So I'm going right, right, and left, left, and I can come forward. Right, right, and I can go backwards. Right, twisting to 10 o'clock, left side, left, left, and I can go backwards. 1 and 2. Okay? Cool. Now, our diagonals. Here was our elbow. This turns into a body shot, a kidney shot. 4. Same thing on this side. Right? And our descending diagonal is driving somebody into the ground. I've done this, maybe I've done this, and then I'm going to drive them into the ground. So, descending diagonal. Good. And in place, and then move. It's important to be able to move, because when you control your distance, you control what the camera sees, or in live theater, what the audience sees, okay? And you control your story and your safety. Cool. And we have straight up. There's your uppercut. Good. Again, driven by the lower body. 2, 3, 4. And you put this together, and hooks. Hook is here. Hook is here. So this was my elbow. I just open this up, and it can be vertical, or it can be horizontal, or it could be a cuff, okay? And it's like wiping a table. Notice I do not go backwards. Everything is shift and unload forward. Same thing on this side. Our 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock hips. Put together a little combination. Left, right, bob and weave, right, left, right. Again, left, right, bob and weave, right, left, right. From the right, right, left, bob and weave, left, right, left. Very simple. Right, left, bob and weave, left, right, left. Now, when you're bobbing and weaving, you're not just staying in place, because if I go down and I come back, I'm still here. The train's going to run me over. So what I'm going to do is go left, right, and this foot's going to move, which we've been teaching ourselves to do, and now I'm outside, and this opens up possibilities. So let's get my pal Kendall Wells in here. We'll show you a quick application. Our great friend Kendall Wells is going to help us out. Kendall has been my performance partner and training partner for the last 17 years. Kendall got skills. So we were looking at, utilizing the hands and working with the feet. We are still getting that sense of all the angles of the feet. Plus, I have a barrier. Well, if he goes to throw a right punch and I go to try to stop it, I got nothing because my elbow's sticking out to the side. Throw the left so camera can see. Bam, this isn't going to help. But if I shift until my rear foot and my hip face what's coming at me, my body's behind my elbow's behind my hand, and this becomes my weapon, okay? So for empty-handed work, the same structure applies. If Kendall throws a right, I need to get this in front of me. Now, if it's a little crowded, I'll just move back. Now, because this is cooperative energy, I know he's aiming right here, or if it was right here, I would put this here like this. So I would catch him at the base of my palm. Do not try to catch this, it'll make your elbow go out. Put this up here, bang, right here, okay? This is what's important, but as he throws, I'm gonna go catch, and I move. When he throws this one, he comes forward, I shift back until I'm behind my elbow. So if we back up and do it again, it'll be catch, catch, pass outside. There's my ascending diagonal. Pass outside, pass inside. There's my descending diagonal. See this foot go back, right? And as he comes, I can feed and monitor, and feed and monitor. And what this allows me to do is shift and move into other options. Okay, nice two shot. Or I could catch this and start to go into a throw. Or I could catch this and shift and move him around. And now we're in some variation of a lock and come along series, okay? So all things are possible when you move your feet. It's the punches we were doing. If he throws a left and a right, and he throws a hook, I bob and weave down, this foot moves, and as I go through, I hit him. So let's do that again. So left, right, bob and weave, strike. That gives me an opportunity, one to the kidneys, open him up, turn so this will read for camera, and I can throw a hook, I could throw an uppercut, I could throw a cross, okay? Move your feet, and you feed story to camera, all right? Same thing would happen if we had a knife, okay? Our same 8 angles of attack, but for right now, he's gonna come down center, and I'm gonna pass this. This would be here, this would be here. This would be a nice feedback. One more time. And so from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, feedback, okay? Because I'm moving my feet. One last time. Actually, go to this. So from here, shift and catch. Now from here, I can shift over to here and move. Good. Again, using my feet. Or we could go to this one, pass down. Now I'm coming this way. And I'm throwing. And if I feed to him, here, and notice how he can go wherever he wants to go. All right? Use your feet. Move. Generate power from your hips and get your body behind your elbows so you have strength through structure rather than effort. Let's move on to a single-handed weapon. Saber, this is my favorite single-handed weapon, both on the ground and from horseback. I teach parries that are hand behind the weapon, elbow behind the hand, body behind the elbow, because cavalry parries have to protect both you and the horse. So they are structurally alignment parries, all right? We don't use these parries, which are small sword parries, because all they have to do is deflect. I have to be able to take the strength of a cut, okay? And it's pretty simple. If I drop my hand, my tip lifts. That's my upper line. If I lift my hand, my tip drops. That's my lower line. And here's my 5 or my 6. And sometimes I will add this, but I will use the skeletal alignment of the lower body and the foot, okay? And my strikes, again, the angle of the hand sets the angle of the blade. So here's a vertical strike, so the moulinet. Here's a diagonal, diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, rising diagonal, rising diagonal. This one is made much easier with footwork and much more powerful. So you get Ken to come in. If he is cutting me, do X before. Drop the hand, lift the hand, straight across, drop the hand, we have a head-head exchange, okay? All well and good if we're working on the perpendicular. If he comes in on a diagonal and I meet the angle of his blade with mine, you'll notice my body's not behind my elbow. So if he insists, he's going to hit me. Or if he steps through with power, he's going to crash me, unless I match his lower body with mine with my descending diagonal, okay? So anytime you work in the diagonals, do X and forward diagonals. So I will meet his blade. I will meet his blade. I will use a 7 here with lower body here, and then I can come back and do whatever it is I'm going to do. Little piece of choreography utilizing our footwork. Fairly standard linear. Here, cutting, that's what sabers do best, so we're going to shift the game to a thrusting section. Thrust, catch, and deception. Now, he's going to crash, he's going to intercept, he's going to try to punch me, I'm going to go offline. And now we're infighting. Right, now I'll back up, and I'll throw this. Now he's going to come on different lines. I'm going to come all the way around here, and we're going to lock up again, have a moment of core, a little dialogue, knock him out of the way, and he comes here. Again, using the feet, your choreography becomes much more interesting, much more linear. Simply move until your body is behind your elbow, and that gives you strength with structure. Let's look at two-handed weapons. katana. This is my favorite two-handed weapon. Basically, it uses all of the same principles. Of course, you have the really cool aspect of putting the sword away without looking at it. It's your saya. Again, I have vertical cuts. I have descending diagonal, or kesa, the feet move. I have horizontal, and kiriage, which means rising cut. And I have thrusts and thrusts. So the same structure, but a different tool, a slightly different culture, and a lot more footwork. Kendall could come in and we could do this linear. He could come in, just doing some here, and I could come back to him and he could come back to me, and so on. That's good for speed, not terribly interesting for power. Working with Japanese sword, there's a lot of work offline. For example, from here, instead of just going backwards, I'm going to do a step change, which changes my position. Or I can do a quick wrap and strike, which is here, wrap and strike. All right? Or we could do step change from the other side, like so, and wrap and strike. Right? And once again, good. And from here, kote, he's going for my wrists. I'm going to twist, and I'm going to reverse. And from here, we can set up a very nice kill. And notice how I have out-positioned him by moving my feet. And of course, I can get behind him for camera, give him a verbal, hey! And that would be my Shiburi no to, put the sword away. Same principles, different tool, much more interesting choreography if you move your feet and change your angles. All right, let's take a look at two-handed weapons, one in each hand. So the tools have changed. I have a kopis in one hand, I have a stick in the other. It doesn't matter, the structure is still here to serve you, to keep you safe and to make you look interesting because you're using actual martial technique to tell your story, okay? We are going to begin with the idea of chambered hands. Most people have a tendency to use both weapons outside in the same place at the same time. This is not very bright and not very interesting. If he's coming at me, this is a 3-count pattern. Well, actually 6 counts. So it's right, left, right, left, right, left. But most people are all about cutting at the stick right here. He's not there. I'm not here. We're cutting. You're focused on the sticks. No. There's an attacker and a defender. If he is attacking, I'm going to build the wall and shift to this side of center line. Then he's going to come down here. Now he's going to go over here. If I don't move, he will crush me. But if I do move, and he's still attacking, so I'm shifting. Good, now it's my turn. He will move to absorb on the defense, and I extend on the attack. Remember, and I am cutting on target. But we're controlling distance, we're controlling leverage. So we're still utilizing our same structure. I am meeting the angle of his blade, whatever angle it happens to be on. I am moving my body until my body is behind my elbow on defense, or I am moving so that my arm is fully extended and I am cutting on target. This is really important, otherwise there is no jeopardy. And the audience goes, well, that's nice and you're playing patty cake with sticks. We want this to be specific, we want this to tell a story. We left out thrust. Let's take a look at what a thrusting sequence would look like. If we are going from here, let's keep it to cutting so it's power, and here, power. Now this becomes thrusting. Thrusting. Here, thrusting, okay? And I could also go to the outside. Maybe I want to go this way because this is what I'm going to do next. Or from here, I can go to the outside if I want to move in this direction. But I am moving until my body's behind my elbow. Push. Because I have stability without any effort. But if I don't move far enough, he's going to come here. And he is targeting my target. When he comes to my head, I place this and I move until I'm behind it. Absorb on the defense, extend on the attack, and becomes very clear what you're doing. Now, of course, everybody loves to spin. Well, you can spin providing you keep your partner busy. So if we're doing a reverse 6 count here like this, and I go here, here, he's busy, good. And one here, you can come back to me, and here, here, here. Let's do it one more time. Because I could come back if he decides not to back up. I haven't overcommitted myself, but I can, if he's moved backwards, do this. And then when he comes to me, I could also stick if you had come in a reverse. But whatever happens, we are out of distance, so no harm, no foul. That's the beauty of movies. You just go back to one and we do it again. All right? Same structure is there to feed and service you and keep you safe and make your choreography interesting. The nature of the tool describes a lot of what you can and can't do with it. Again, still utilizing your structure, still utilizing your angles of attack set by the angle of your hand, and utilizing your footwork, okay? If he is doing a strike to my temple or to my neck, okay, it's a descending diagonal. I do not want to be here. As he comes in, I can smother him before he can go, and then do something with the stick, or I can shift and hit him. I just moved off angle. Now I'm going to stretch him out here like this, and then I'm going to take the stick. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to move. Oh, that gives him a beat. Now from here, he's going to turn my hand up. Or I could do this, and I could come from below and turn his hand down and take it that way and feed him with the opposite side. Because we try to train both sides because that's important. Okay? I could come up here like this. Right? I could come over the top. That's another disarm. There are countless ones, and you will find these yourself. Okay? Things I can do with the stick, this. There's up and around here like this. If he comes from another angle, I can come in here like this, which would be a strike. Notice how I'm moving until I'm off angle. Then I'm stretching him out and making him reach. And then when he is done, I can give him a nice little cue here to release. I can tear it out of his hand, but that's not nice to your partner. Okay? What you can do with this, grab the 2 swords, would you? You can also do with a sword, and that's what's really wonderful. You know, we said at the beginning that the more arts you study, each one will inform the other. So that first one I did here like this, if I reach in here and turn his hand up, that means he's very weak, and I can take that. Or, one of my favorites is to come around here. Now, this would be combative, so I have to protect my partner. So as that comes in, I'm going to keep this vertical and then stretch out, and now I have both weapons, which is a very cool discipline. All right? So that comes out of that sombrata flow, which the same thing would happen if he was throwing a punch. Throw a punch, I might do this and strike, and he might do something else. Great, and whatever it is he happens to do, I might go to the off angle. And now we're into a lock flow here like this. And you can go downstairs, and you can come up here, and you can move yourself into 2 shots. All to service the story, utilizing the structure to give you strength through structure rather than effort, and to make your choreography more interesting and to be able to move around. These days, the camera is almost constantly in motion. You have to be aware of that. You have to be able to use the flow of your fight with the flow of the camera to maximize the effectiveness of the story. You want to learn more of this? Come out to DeLongis Performance and Combat Arts at Rancho Andalo. We'd love to have you.